the 7th page of the printouts. The bottom of the page, page Lamed, and we were speaking about what it says, וירד b'yom ad yom, ומנהר ad אפסי oretz. We explained what does it mean concerning Mashiach's times, that he will rule from sea to sea. It's referring to from the Yam HaKadmoini, the eastern or early sea, to the Yam HaAchron, the final sea. And we spoke about that these are the two levels in Atzilus, from Chochmah to Malchus, the early versus the last. And in the person's nefesh, that is the level of Chochmah, Seichel, and Maisa. And this has to be a precursor to Mashiach having the reign miyom ad yom. We need to do this internally as well. We need to have the reign over our Chochmah and over our Maisa. Sometimes it could be start from action, then go to Chochmah. Sometimes it could be from Chochmah, then from there go to Maisa. But that is all the first part of the pasuk. What that means, beruchni, is the idea of Vired miyom ad yom. What does it mean to reign from sea to sea? That we need to have the reign over our seichel down all the way to our actions. Now we wanted to know what it says later in the pasuk. Uminahar vad afsi oretz. So we started explaining what does it mean from the river to the ends of the earth. First of all, what's the river referring to? He explains that the river is referring to Nahar Pros, the river Euphrates, that was in and giving waters to Gan Eden. And here he's going to explain about, first he explained about that had to do with Gan Eden. Now he's going to explain the function of Nahar Pros, of the river Pros concerning Gan Eden. So line 29, bottom of page Lamed, page 7. So should be able to exist and remain the existence of the garden. There's a need to irrigate, to give water to the trees that are in the garden. How does one make sure that the trees have sufficient water? Through the river that comes out from Eden to irrigate the garden, top of page Lamed Al. According to what it's known, Eden, that the Eden is higher than the Gan of Eden, because the Gan of Eden is only the river that receives from Eden. And the idea of Eden, it's the perfection and godliness, it's the level of Tainug of Hashem, etc. Eden from the word madanim, pleasurable things. Once we know that the Eden, which is the source of the river, is so high, so therefore the river that's coming and taking out of Eden is also a very high level of Kedusha. And them are concerning this very high level of Kedusha of the Nahar, of the river that comes out of Eden. It says, first it says he will rule from sea to sea, and then he concludes, that from the river, this above mentioned river, that's a very, very high level in Kedusha, it goes to the ends of the earth. The well-known river that goes out of Eden. Now we said this well-known river is the Nahar Pros. It doesn't even have to be identified by a name. It's known as the river. Nimshach ad Afsi Oretz comes down all the way to the ends of the earth. So, in a very simple sense, we're talking here about the highest levels of holiness instead of the way it was at the beginning of creation. That where did the Nahar go from Eden? It only went to Gan Eden. So this great Kedusha was only something that became revealed in Gan Eden. Further than that, this great Kedusha didn't go. It couldn't go beyond the level of Gan Eden. Mashiach's times is going to be Venor Yotze, that this Nahar is going to, this river that comes out of Eden is going to reach to the ends of the earth, meaning this whole Kedusha is going to come out throughout the entire world. Then the Rebbe adds even more so, Befraten, especially the Pirish of Hashem to Rabbeinu Hazaken. according to the way the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe explains in the meaning of Eretz, that Eretz, that earth is from the word earthiness, in other words, physicality and so on. Also in earthy and physical material things comes out from the river that goes out from Eden to irrigate, meaning even in the lowest levels, in such a manner that also in the ends of the earth, meaning the lowest level of earthiness, the furthest level in earthiness, becomes not just that it is, instead of being just earthy and materialistic and so on, it becomes the growth day after day, through the water that comes out of the river that comes from Eden. So this is what it means, that this river that usually irrigates Gan Eden reaches to the lowest level of earthiness. And just like the purpose of the water irrigating Gan Eden initially was to make things grow in Gan Eden, in a similar vein, the water that's going to come now from the Nahar that originally gave water to Gan Eden is now going to come to the rest of the world and bring growth in the rest of the world as well, in the artiest as well, in the most material, physical part of the world as well. The Rebbe explains what this means. Line 13, second paragraph, a closing, but the general idea behind this is just like Mashiach is not only that he himself will be perfect, but Mashiach is supposed to bring godliness into the world. His purpose is also to redeem the entire world and to establish it in a state and situation of perfection. Like we said before in the mimer earlier, that Eila told us Hashemayim v'Aretz says twice told us, because at the beginning of the creation the world was perfect. That's why it says told us Molly with a vav. And the same thing, Eila told us Peretz, which goes on the forerunner of Mashiach. Peretz was the predecessor of Mashiach, because Mashiach's times will be the perfection in the world. Based that the job of Mashiach will be to repair and fix up the world under the kingdom of Hashem, until, like we say in Rosh Hashanah davening, that every made being will know that you made it. So it's not just about Mashiach's own perfection, it's about what Mashiach will accomplish in this world. So, like we were talking about before, there is also the inner Mashiach in every single one of us. He became who gam benegel nitzutz pratisha Mashiach chalech Yisrael. So too, it's concerning the individual spark of Mashiach. That's in every single Yid Shema Oider Oisa. That this spark of Mashiach within every Yid inspires the Yid. It empowers the Yid and gives them the privilege to be yachad im shleimus hakoyches shaloi ba'ifin de v'yerd miyom ad yom, along with his complete soul powers, that he rules from sea to sea. In other words, going from the highest soul power of chokhmah, of intellect, reaching down to the lowest soul power of action. So in other words, internally, everything is up. Internally, everything is in a state of shleimus. In addition to that, the spark of Mashiach within every Yid empowers us that Yipol Gam Menahar ad Afsi Yoretz, that he will influence and affect also from the river to the ends of the earth. To draw down the well-known river, in other words, the river that comes out of Eden, to irrigate the garden, to bring water into the garden, and not to be satisfied with that corner of the garden that he's found in. He can't be satisfied with just within his own daladamis, that his own self is perfect or his own household is perfect. but rather to draw this down till the ends of the earth, and to transform the entire world into a garden, like we know, that Hashem said, I've come to my garden, my special place, to my place of pleasure, etc. So and the garden that the Hashem is referring to is the entire world. And it's our job to reveal again how the world is Hashem's garden. And in that entire world, he has to make that in that world and in that garden of the entire world, not just this small Gan Eden, but the entire world as Hashem's garden, has to come down the river that goes out Me'edim L'Hashkisagan to irrigate the garden. Rebbe concludes, through the avoid of every single Yid in the above mentioned manner of his own internal V'yed miyam ad yam, and his own internal that minor vadafsei oretz, that he doesn't just internally keep it inside, but he influences the entire world around him. Nasis geula pratis b'chayev shakol prat. So from that comes about a individual redemption in the life of every individual Yid. It's similar to the general redemption in the coming of Mashiach, like it's explained in Tanya, that every person's individual private redemption is a mirror and a minor part of the big and ultimate redemption. This is a close preparation, Shemagdima, that prefaces with Maheres and speeds up the Oifen, the Achishanet happened last page, in a way that I will bring the Geula quickly, as Agula B'Poil, the actual redemption. Like it's known, the statement of the Marash, that the Samch Tzedek Shetzarachli is Bias HaMashiach Kipshuta V'Geula Kipshuta B'Gashmis. There has to be the actual coming of Mashiach in the simple, literal sense, and the idea of the Geula in a literal sense. This was after the Tzemach Tzedek said that by having a certain Chassidus Sefer be printed, that is Mashiach coming. Marash said we need the literal Mashiach, not just spiritual ideas of Mashiach. Then it will be fulfilled what was foretold, I will transform the nations, that they will serve him as one and together. Because Hashem's reign will be over the entire earth. And it will be in actuality, they will rule from sea to sea and from the river to the ends of the earth, both spiritually, and also literally in the physical, and speedily, Mamash.